We have our daughter visiting
Start now. You have to wait.
Hello, everybody. Now?
Yeah.
Romy can't be with us tonight. We have our daughter visiting and her family from Mississippi. So Romy's spending a little family time tonight. We have Lisa with us tonight, and she has promised that we're going to get some really exciting stuff tonight. If you remember last time, Curtis spoke with us about being of service to people when we meet them and when we introduce them to our product and our opportunity. So being a total service attitude. So I'm not sure what Lisa has tonight, but we're going to find out in just a second. So here you go, Lisa.
Thanks, Mark. Good evening, everybody back there in the States. I'm in Hong Kong, and for those of you that are watching live, I have opened up the Q&A, and I love comments or just to say, hey, you can see us. What's going on. So many recipes on how to be successful that it's merely a set of steps that one follows. What really changes, what really separates those that have great success from those that don't, is the vision that they are following, the picture that they've created. You remember once we spoke with Romy, and she said that when she first got started in the space of entrepreneurship, home-based business, network marketing, she really never believed that she could earn more than $2,000 to $3,000 a month. So of course, she never did. But as her picture got bigger, she started to realize that she could achieve more. And once she was able to achieve the rank of Blue Diamond, if you talk to her today, she doesn't see a limit on what she can accomplish. And you'll also see that when she talks about it, it's no longer about financial goals. It's no longer about how much money can I make. When she says she sees no limits, she's referring to the lifestyle that they've been able to achieve, she and Mark. A cabin, they're now about to hit the road in their camper. But more than that, she's focused on the results that she can achieve for other people or help other people to achieve. She no longer sees a limit on the impact that she can have on other people, how many and how far it can reach. And all of that comes as a function of expanded thinking. So whenever Curtis and I teach things, we're always asking questions designed to help people look at things differently. Because with new information, with a new outlook, with a new vantage point, we tend to come to different conclusions and we tend to see things differently. If you want to see the world differently, look at the world differently. So one of the things that now you've learned so much skill, and I assume for those of you watching, and everybody's at different levels of this, but you're out every day practicing the skills, talking to people, inviting people, sharing the opportunity, telling your story, hearing their stories. And this is something that you will get better with over time. Repetition is the mother of competency, and eventually of expertise. So now I want to tell you the next phase. When you really learn something is when you teach it to somebody else. And anybody who's achieved any level of success in our space or any other space where you now are working with other people, you find that as you teach them, you really begin to understand what you yourself have learned. Because it's only when we teach that we have to break things down and we have to utilize our critical thinking to say, what did I do? Call somebody who has the family recipe that's been handed down for generations, the best chocolate chip cookies you ever ate, the best chicken soup you ever ate. And it's come down so many generations that the written copy of how to do it's long since gone, or it's in some sort of chicken scratch that only somebody in the family would understand. And say, Susie, your chicken soup is unbelievable. Frank, those chocolate chip cookies are to die for. Can you give me the recipe? And if they're not following a recipe, that's this age-old hand-down thing. And as a cook, I know this. You sit down, and first thought is, well, I just know how to make it. A little bit of this, and a little bit of that. And you've been doing it by rote for so long But now somebody else wants to know. So you actually have to go back and say, okay, what am I doing, in what order? And you become very aware of what you are doing in the order that you're doing, so that you can write it down into a format that somebody else could follow. That's when you really learn how to do it, is when you're capable of teaching someone else. So now I'm going to take you to the next phase of how leaders become leaders, how they expand their thinking, and how they start to ask questions and paint pictures for others so that they can do the same thing. And the way to do it, the methodology for doing it, I steal from a good friend of mine, probably one of the most brilliant things I ever saw taught to me, but in its simplicity, Ray Higdon, and he calls it ILT. So go ahead and write down ILT, and I'll tell you what they stand for. The I stands for invest. And by the way, when I talk about investments, the most valuable investment to me is time. Now, there are things that we pay for, and that's money. But when I talk about invest, don't assume I mean money. And here's why. What you need to invest in is your education. The difference between those that have great things in life and those that don't is the level of the amount of time they've invested in their own education. And we're not talking about reading, writing, arithmetic from school. That's sort of forced on you by your parents and the government. And we're not talking necessarily about going out and taking additional courses on a particular discipline. I'm talking now about investing your time, because there's a multitude of resources out there that are totally free. So, but however, whatever you choose to do, you invest in your education. All of you who are here with us today, all of you who take the time to watch this in replay, you are investing your time. You are in the hopes that you will gain value for that time that makes it worth that time investment, which, by the way, is the most valuable investment I believe anybody can make. You know, you can make more money. Mark can make more money. He's making money, but tomorrow, if he had to start over, he can make more money. But right now, he's got family in town, and he's not with them. He's here helping you. That's an investment of time that he can't get back, because time is a one-way clock. You know, so you invest your time. The L stands for learn. You invest your time and you learn. And then the T stands for teach. And this is where the magic happens. This is when you take what you have learned, what you have realized, what you have become aware of, and you start passing it on to other people. And if you look at it, that's really all network marketing is. You've invested your time in learning about something, your money probably in a product that you love using. You've learned. And now we go out and we share and teach others what we have learned. And that's the whole cycle of what we do. But I'm not talking about applying that cycle to your education. And one of the assignments I give in a personal development class, and I'm going to give it to you guys, it's an optional thing, but I'm going to then show you the results of it, is I love TED Talks. And let me tell you why I love TED Talks. There's a lot of them. Although they sometimes talk about specific things, really they're designed to expand your thinking and to make you look at things in a new way. They are 100% free and available online. And they run anywhere from 12 to 20 minutes. And that's a block of time that everybody can hold their attention. They can find throughout the day to go learn something. And ask yourself this: would it be worth 20 minutes to you to have somebody radically change your thinking? And here's what I suggest about TED Talks. I will tell people ones that I liked and why. But I always tell people, if you really want to learn, go to TED.com or go to YouTube and Google TED Talks. And just keep looking until you see a title, whatever it is, whatever the subject's on, really doesn't matter, that grabs your attention, and start to watch it. If it doesn't grab your attention in the first, let's say 90 seconds to 3 minutes, turn it off and go get another one. Get one that really engages you, because that's where you're going to get the greatest impact for yourself and the greatest impact on other people. Yesterday was a Lisa Needs Some Inspiration Day. I went to TED Talks. And honestly, I hit a couple that I'm sure were fascinating, wonderful, maybe even go back and see them later, but they weren't what I was looking for on that particular day. One of them, and I know it would have been fascinating mind expansion, but this topic that it was built around, what he was telling stories about, was quantum physics. Is anybody watching this think that I have any aptitude whatsoever to even understand the words that are involved in quantum physics? I'm just impressed. It took me years to be able to say quantum physics. So I didn't watch that one. And the one that I landed on was one by Adam Braun, the founder of Pencils for Promise. And there's an end to the story that I'll tell you. But he told a lot of stories and able to make his points. But what he taught was 5 phrases that will change your life. And he used his own personal experience and how he built his particular organization to drive those points home. I'm not going to do that because I've got different experiences and stories, but the 5 phrases that he put so resonated with me and so inspired me that I decided I was going to share them with you because they'll mean different things to each person. And this is wisdom that he achieved in the 10 years of his life from the age of 20 till 30. I'm significantly older than that, but never say you can't learn from anybody, because I was taught by somebody I may never meet, although I intend to meet him, that's just me, yesterday, who, you know, when I was his age, he wasn't here. So I can learn from anybody that can teach me something inspiring. So if they can change your life and give you a little bit of information around them, or stories or whatever. The first phrase is get out of your comfort zone. And we've all heard this. We use this in our space a lot. But if you think about it, anything that you've ever had or learned, or wisdom that you've gained, or goal that you've attained, or thing that you really wanted, like Mark and Romy are going off to hit the road in their new camper. These are all things that come when you come out of your comfort zone. You get great knowledge and achieve great things when through your struggles, rather than through a state of complacency. Because when we're complacent and content and everything is perfect, how inspired are we to go change anything? Gee, I'm so happy sitting here on the couch and everything is good. I'm inspired to go turn my life upside down. It is generally in the questions or in the struggle or in things we're not happy with the way things are that we find better solutions and better decisions come, and better ways, better lifestyle for us and our family. But the thing about a comfort zone is it's very comfortable. You have to, and by the way, that doesn't mean you're happy. You will meet people who are not happy. They'll tell you they're not happy. They don't have the things they want in life. They don't have those types of things, but they are comfortable. Comfortable means that their world works in a way that they are so familiar with that they are likely to feel like they are in the unknown. They are unlikely to feel that it is a situation they can't handle or are not prepared for. They are likely to feel uncomfortable. But again, life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So number 1 is get out of your comfort zone. The second one really is where I got grabbed. I love the way you spoke and I love the story. So I was on it long enough to get to the second one, but obviously get out of your comfort zone is not new for any of us, right? The second phrase was challenge your assumptions so you can find your truths. And that hit me in the head like a ton of bricks, because that's really what we do every day. Network marketing doesn't work. That's an assumption. And if we accept that assumption, which so many of us start with, then look what we do not have. So if you challenge the assumption and say, okay, I'm told it doesn't work, it probably doesn't work, these people probably know what they're talking about, but what if they're wrong? What if they don't know what they're talking about? What if they just heard from somebody like I heard from them, who heard from somebody, who heard from somebody, who heard from somebody, that network marketing didn't work? And what if the person who said it didn't work, it turns out, signed up in a company with false expectations, bought the product, never talked to anybody, never shared it with anybody, was shocked to discover the product didn't get up, put on its coat, march down the street, knock on someone's door, say, I'm here for tea, and explain itself. And based on that, they decided that network marketing doesn't work. And everybody's got this assumption going on, because the assumption allows us to not challenge ourselves. The assumption allows us to keep the status quo. The assumption allows us to believe, to stay in our comfort zone. But what if it does work? People are making money at it. Oh yeah, but they all got it at the beginning. They're at the top of the pyramid. Well, but they're consistently making money. And if nobody was achieving, would it work? And, you know, I looked at that company and they don't have one person that did it on the first day. That would mean probably the person at the top of the pyramid. I see people that got, you know, in year 5, year 6, that are making diamond, that are making blue diamonds. So if it works for them, it might not work for me, but it must work. And as you challenge those assumptions, you discover the truths, both inner and outer, that will take you from where you are to where you want to be. And every time you get on a road that is inclined up, you're here, but you want to go here. You know, there's less people at the top because most people don't challenge the assumptions. And if you don't challenge the assumptions, your vision can't expand. Last week, I had somebody tell me, that people that work the jobs, they have no vision. And that's not true. The vision may be narrow and it may be limited because we don't get what we want. We've talked about this. We get what we picture. But if you go talk to somebody who's working at a company and that's their life plan, and you say, where do you see yourself in 5 years? They probably won't say in the same job. They might say, I think by then maybe I can be a supervisor of this department, and maybe I'll be making 15-20% more, and instead of having 8 vacation days a year, I'll be up to 15 because I'm at this level now. Now, for a lot of us, for anybody who's taken the leap and gotten this far to really be engaged in the wonderful, wacky world of network marketing, the community and families that we build, the change that you can see created, for anybody who's crossed the line and begun entrepreneurship, and especially for those that always were, that sounds like a really less deserving plan than that person probably has. 5 years, 15 to 20% more money, a few more vacation days, but it is a vision. So we can't say they don't have a vision. We can't say they don't have a picture that they are working toward, that they don't see a future for themselves. But is it the future they deserve? Is that really the choice, or are they living in a world of assumptions that that's all they're capable of, that they don't know anybody, that if they only have this degree, you can only get so far? So when you challenge your assumptions, you can find your inner truths, help other people find theirs by challenging theirs, and you can find the external truths, because opinions change with new information. If we assume that network marketing doesn't work, why would we be going to look to see if it does? But if you challenge the assumption, you have to go find the information to see if the assumption was correct or not. So to me, this is something that works not only in business, this is a life lesson. Number 3, and I thought this was so amazing as well. It says, speak the language of the person you are seeking to become. In other words, put your vision and your picture into everyday speech. It has a way of manifesting itself. You meet people, it's, for example, saying to somebody, how are you doing in your MLM? And they say, well, I just got started and I'm this. There's a difference between that and I just got started on the road to diamond. I'm going to be a diamond with this company in the next 12 months. Because once you say it, your mind says, well, how, and if a person will probably say it to you too, how am I going to do that? And then your mind starts working on answering the question you gave it. And then you're on the path. So if, for example, and I'll use Adam Braun's example, who started Pencils for Promise. He was working in management consulting when he was very young at one of the top Wall Street firms. And he said, going out to parties and telling people, gee, I work in management consulting. The world. I'm going to travel. I'm going to go to places I've never been, and know where it is you want to go, because that's what makes it happen. That's what helps you create that picture. The 4th one, this is anybody who's really embedded themselves in our space will get this. A lot of people in business will say, what? But it is so true. Make the little decisions with your head, logic, etc. Make the big decisions with your heart. Because if you follow your heart will never lead you wrong. It's like, make a decision about where to get a job with your head. Look at all the job offers you have and make the decision that is going to get you the most gain that you're fine with. Unless one of them is something you are extremely passionate about. Go with your passion. Make the little decisions about where to have dinner and who to accept a first date with your head, but decide who to marry with your heart. Because your heart will never steer you wrong on the big decisions. If you use your head to make the little decisions so that your heart doesn't make you do something stupid. But if you use your head to make little decisions, you've already created a safe structure for when the big decision comes along to follow your heart, because you made the logical decisions on all the small things. And the fifth one is one that I have asked everybody all the time that I have been working and in my career, but I didn't have the other four before it. I sort of had to get out of your comfort zone, and I had number 5, and the 3 in the middle really did so much for me. The last question is, knowing what you know today and knowing that the world you live in is going to change in the next decade, how can you make the most positive impact for as many people as possible? How can you make the most positive impact for as many people as possible? Because in this space is we impact people's lives. And the good news is the more you impact, the bigger your paycheck. But very few people that are achieving great results, after a while, once they've proven to themselves that money can be made, they're no longer chasing money. They're looking to maximize impact. How can we help the most people? That's why we tend to work with people that we feel can have the most impact on other people and create that ripple effect. Because one of the things that was so interesting in hearing this talk of Adam Braun's was he's the one who revolutionized the way that people look at the nonprofit world. And he said, nonprofit is such a stupid thing. Yes, it's a 501c3 tax structure so that all of the benefits can go to whatever the cause is that the structure is set up for. But nobody gets up every day and says, I'm really excited to go work in the non-profit. What kind of industry starts with non? Who are we? Well, we're not for profit. And if you look at people, and if you look at our space, everything you do, even if you have some cause that you are working with that is a nonprofit, we work to provide value. We go out and we help others we help others. Typically, most charities are to help people that have disease or lift people out of poverty. So we're doing that to lift people up, to better people's lives, or we do it to create meaningful experiences for ourselves. And both of those are profitable, just not in the typical terms. So what he says is nonprofits are not nonprofits. They're for purpose. They're designed for purpose. And when you passionately work in this industry, you are working for purpose. And you get richly rewarded for it. Nobody who is here who has already achieved a lifestyle that most people dream of, that continues working, is doing it because, gee, I need to get me some more money. They have enough. We have money. We can go invest in stocks and other things and diversify. We keep working because it's for purpose, to help make the world better, to help people that think they have no option see that they do, to help people realize that where they are at may seem like it's fate, but once you know that you can't claim you don't, that there are other options. There is a better way out there. We work for the purpose of making a difference. And when we do, it is highly profitable. But those that achieve the most that I have met, 98% of them, are working on purpose and being richly rewarded for it. So when you look at this wonderful vehicle that you have in front of you, whatever your vision for it is, and maybe you're somebody who wants to make an extra $400 a month, and that's okay. That's wonderful, and we celebrate that. It's achieving your goals. But if you can make an extra $400 a month, and that's all you want, what if you made an extra $500 a month? What could you do with that $100? What kind of an impact could you create? How could you make a difference? And if you can make $500, haven't you learned everything you need to go out and make $3,000? And this is how your vision expands. So when you work with people, don't let the people frustrate you, and don't get caught up in people if they're against it. Because if you look to make the most positive impact, and you find those that can be the most impactful, you are going to reach the largest number of people. And anybody else, if it's not their time to see what can be different for them, that's okay. You're better for the experience of having been with them, because you're going to be more effective with the next person. Your skill set's going to improve, and you've opened a door where things might change, and there'll be another conversation where their timing may be right. So to wrap all of this up, everything that came from this 20-minute talk inspired me. These are lessons that are so wonderfully applied to what we do. They are, I've also taught you the ILT, which is, from Ray Higdon, the invest, learn, teach. And it's through the teaching of something that you learn more, because I read all this yesterday. I watched it and I wrote it down. And in teaching it to you today, and I apologize that you were the guinea pigs, because this will become a training of mine and I will get better. I may not be as excited about it though, because when you get better, you're not as sometimes excited. But invest, learn, teach. And let me tell you the upshot of all this. I watched this video and I watched it, and I had Curtis watch it. And we do a lot of training with people that are our friends, and we get asked to speak at a lot of things that we turn down, because we typically do what we love and work with those that we love. And we pride ourselves on being able, that's our for purpose thing. So we never, but we do get, we have to offer a lot of things that are for money that we say no, because we have the time, but they don't inspire us. But I said, Curtis, we need to build a school with this Pencils for Promise. It's not very big, and we can build a school. We've got all these people that ask us, and let's go build a school. So what was interesting is we made the decision yesterday, and we're just going to put it together. I'm going to figure it out as I go, but it really doesn't take very much to start a school. And after watching this 20-minute video, I got these phrases that inspired me. I got this new great training that will get much, much better. And thank you guys again for being the first people to watch it. And I was inspired to go build a school. So see what can happen in 20 minutes if you find something that you can engage with that ignites your passion. So Mark, questions, if anybody's got questions, if you want to talk about anything, that's kind of the special training I developed for today. What are your thoughts?
I loved it. I thought it was great. You hit the nail on the head for quite a few things for me. There's a lot of things that we learn in different trainings and everything else, but there's always a new perspective on each one of those things. I know that the one that really hit with me was challenging your assumptions.
Me too.
And I know it wasn't too long ago that I was the guy that you were talking about in your example, and with my job, one of the big things I looked forward to in my job, I had 2 more years, and I was gonna get 3 weeks of vacation. Well, thank God and everybody else, I don't have to worry about that now.
If you got a bigger vision than you had, at some point you challenged some assumption.
Right.
You just realize it. And what's really cool, and I was going to say that, is for those of you that wonder about training and taking the time to do it, obviously these 5 phrases were not designed for our space, but this content wasn't mine. And all I basically did was took the content and told some stories because of how it resonated with me with our space, which means that one of the easiest ways to become a teacher and a trainer is just take content that you've learned and apply it to what you feel, believe, or stories that resonate with you, and just teach it. So it's that easy. If anybody ever says, what do I talk about, or how do I do this? Just go out and watch. I like watching videos because they can exert more emotion than reading, but I'm a big believer in reading good stuff and putting it into your head every night. And I'm one of those people that's always got a book she's reading. One about business. Those take me weeks. One chapter, but I read them because I should. And those that are story format that talk about better ways of thinking and change along those paths. So I guess that's what this is really about, because you got so many people, Mark, that are doing so well. And we all, no matter where we are, we always come to a point where unless we are challenged, we need to step up again. But if we're not challenged, we don't. I've got a repertoire of trainings. I've been training for 20 years. Do I really need to go get something new? But if you don't, you're not growing. But for a long time, you won't. Mark and Romy are doing very, very well. So you have to get to the point, well, you have to ask yourself the question, what's going to get me to go step to the next level? The picture has to get bigger of what is possible for you to step to the next level, particularly when your new comfort zone is a really good life. So I would encourage everybody to ask questions and to teach. And start with teaching yourself. And the best mentors and teachers are available. Like I said, I like TED Talks. I'm not saying you have to start with TED Talks. If you want to take the assignment I gave you today and try it, I think you'll enjoy it. But there's a multitude of resources online from great mentors and experts that are in video and audio format that you can start with and see where it takes you. And this is one that wherever it takes you, I want to know. So please let me know if you try it, what your thoughts are and what your results are, and if it turns any switches for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be hitting TED Talks.
I knew you would. You know, you're a mentor of mine.
I've been there quite a few times, but I haven't. Obviously, I missed this one, so I haven't spent enough time yet. But the other two things that really hit home with me were when you said a new person, when they say maybe I just started with doTERRA last week. I think it's really, really important, and I've never had it put this way, but for a new person coming on, I started my journey to Diamond with doTERRA last week.
Exactly, because it is a journey, and a lot of people forget that.
And I mean, to be shooting for the stars right from the beginning, you know, I mean, like Les Brown says, shoot for the stars, at least you'll hit the sky, right? So,
you know, once you declare it, the path becomes evident, because what is there? I don't know what the exact ranks are, but there's like ruby and a bunch of other things on the way to diamond, right?
Yeah, silver and gold and platinum. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you say that that's where you're going, you know all the places you have to stop along the way. The path becomes self-evident. But don't shoot for the next rank. Shoot for the end of the road, and that's just one of the bus stops along the way.
Well, the other really, really huge thing I think that you said that, and in this TED Talks, they were talking about a not-for-profit, but the working for purpose. We're very blessed in our team that most of the people everybody that's doing the business that I know of on the team is working for a purpose.
Exactly, because you are. That's what you are, and it does.
And that's why we have so many successful people on the team.
Not a doubt in my mind, because and I think this is true of any job as well. But in a job, there are consequences if you don't perform. If you don't do your job, you will no longer have one. In this world, if you don't do the work, you will suffer, but nobody's going to come over and fire you.
No.
You know, so it's a different type of thing. But I know that on a daily basis, in anything in life, if it's tough or time consuming or has those days, including a job, if you don't have a bigger picture, we always say the why. If you don't have that, it becomes so easy to quit. It would be so easy for me to quit a job if I felt the only purpose was to get a paycheck, because surely there's another job out there where I can get a paycheck. Mm-hmm. But if I'm working on something that is really, I can see the impact and I can be passionate about it, and I know that what I'm doing on a daily basis is helping to make an impact somewhere, somehow, beyond me, then it always becomes, you know, it's not always a joy, but it's not, you're not always feeling the joy, but it's a joyful experience, if that makes any sense.
No, that was great. I really, really enjoyed what you had for us tonight. I think maybe we need to rename these to you know, Lisa Talks or Curtis Talks instead of just a training and mentoring.
Yeah, I mean, well, mentoring is a good word, because I think that involves talks and training, but that's why I never like to think of myself as a trainer. Because there's nothing wrong with being a trainer. I've been trained by some of the best, but that to me is always more tactile. You know, make the list. You know, it's always more stuff you do. And I think when you mentor, stuff you do is important, but I like people that also challenge my assumptions, get me to think things differently. So,
yeah.
Like I said, this was an experiment because it was, I think, very on point for our space, but having nothing to do with like getting on the phone and making that three-way call. But
well, we're honored that we were the first ones to get to be the guinea pigs here. But I really enjoyed it tonight.
And I appreciate you allowing me, and all of you who are watching live, and all of you who are watching on the replay. I appreciate, you'll never know that your time is valuable. I really, really am grateful that we have the opportunity to maybe come in and help a little bit. And, you know, I thank you for trading and giving us some of your valuable time. And I had a lot of fun. I love Romy to death, but Mark, I know you and I, this is our second one, so it's always fun to work with you because you get a little bit of a different perspective. So everybody go out and make it happen, change the world, change your own world, and change the world around you. And we'll see you next week. And please, if you take this ILT and you go out and you go through this process of 25 or 30 minutes a day when you can find the time, let me know, you know, how that works for you and what your experiences are. I love the stories, and the stories help me to get better. You all mentor me when you share with me your results and what you find. So thanks, and have a great day. And you guys, I don't know when exactly you're hitting the road, but mazel tov and congratulations. It's wonderful.
Thank you. So give Curtis a big hug for us, and we'll talk to you next week.
I will. Thanks. Bye, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.